Great. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Wayne.
Can you tell us who you are and tell us a little bit about your research, please?
Yeah, definitely. I'm Benoit Combemale. I'm full professor of software engineering at the University of Toulouse, and I'm leading research activities about model-driven engineering and software language engineering, and focusing about how we can provide some approaches for automating the development of tooling around domain-specific languages.
And I'm Didier Vojtisek. I'm a research engineer at INRIA, and my main job is to help researchers to develop and deploy and improve all the tools so they can be deployed for the end users. And I'm one of the architects of the tool we are doing within the Eclipse Foundation.
So tell me about GEMOC.
So yeah, we are here for representing the GEMOC, which is different things. GEMOC, first of all, is a research initiative. So we started in 2012 a group of people focusing on a very specific scientific challenge, which is how we can design and relate different modeling languages, such as we can use them in a coordinated manner when we develop complex software-intensive systems. So that's the grand challenge of the GEMOC initiative, and we bring together practitioners and researchers that are interested in basically sharing solutions, experiences, and problems. And we started to work on it through different research projects, and at some point we developed some prototypes, some demonstrators, and we tried to federate all the different development into a platform, a research platform that took the name of the GEMOC Studio. So,
sure. Can you tell me a bit about GEMOC Studio?
So the GEMOC Studio is mainly an Eclipse platform. That's an Eclipse tool package where you can have you integrate a lot of plugins there, and all the research from different PhD students and also all the researchers, and we make it extensible in a way that you can answer many research questions. And one of the main questions is about to add executability into the languages. That's the main part of the studio.
So when you speak of it as a platform, does that mean you're building on the Eclipse platform, or is it an entirely new platform?
This is an Eclipse platform in the sense that we are building just an Eclipse RCP with as a big package with all the tools we need for these specific activities, as building new DSLs that will be executable and that will collaborate with each other.
So when you say that a model is executable, how does that mean? Is that like taking an eCore or something similar and executing based directly on the model?
So that's exactly this. So the GEMOC Studio is an Eclipse package on top of the modeling package, where we first include some other modeling tools such as Sirius, Xtext, and so on. And most of these tools are already for the syntactic part of the modeling languages, which means that we can automate the development of graphical or textual editors, but we cannot run behavioral models. So what we provide on top of it is different approaches in order to define what we call the operational semantics, which is basically virtual machines for those modeling languages, and then we can directly into the GEMOC Studio execute these models.
So now eCores that I understand, for example, I know that eCore is just an example.
Yep.
eCore does not define behavioral semantics.
No.
That's true. So right now, eCore is mostly for defining the syntax of your language, so you can define your different concepts, you can relate these different concepts, and you can even define the signature of different methods in the different concepts. And now what we can do is to define the body of these methods, which is basically the virtual machine of the language, and then we can execute this model on any conforming models. So we are mostly focusing on model execution, but basically you can define any model transformation that you want. So in our case, we are mostly focusing on executing and thus implementing virtual machines, but you can develop any model transformations that you want.
Okay. So the GEMOC Studio project has been created recently?
So that's true. So we started in 2012, and we just created, after 5 years of different contributions of the different partners, the Eclipse project of the GEMOC studio. And the main objective was to sustain the GEMOC studio as a research platform beyond any research projects. Because as researchers, we are mainly bound to research projects, which are 3 years or 5 years research projects. And the main objective was to really use this mechanism of an Eclipse project to sustain beyond the end of particular projects.
So what kind of involvement are you getting in the project? Are you seeing community or industry step up?
So this is even beyond the Eclipse project. At the same time we created the project, we also created the research consortium. And we created the research consortium on top of the Eclipse project for federating the community that was already around the GEMOC initiative. So, as the same way the Eclipse project sustains the GEMOC studio, the Eclipse Research Consortium tried to sustain the GEMOC initiative. And in this initiative there is a lot of partners coming from industry and academia, and the main objective now is to federate this community and the research consortium, in addition to the informal initiatives that we have in the past, provide a way to structure this initiative, to provide a governance, to ensure that we can involve in different research projects, to have our own project, our own budget, and yeah, to go beyond what we had in the past.
What do you expect out of GEMOC in the future?
So we are already in a very exciting period because we just switched everything into the Eclipse Foundation, which means that we have now very good structure in order to develop the future. So we are very proud to join the Eclipse Foundation, and we hope that we will have a great future in this context. So this is for the organizational part, and of course we have a lot of very exciting scientific perspectives. So right now we are mostly executing our models, and now the next perspective are going to web-based, modular, distributed, reconfigurable modeling environments. So that's one of our perspectives. Another one is co-simulation, because now we can simulate one model independently to the other. We want to coordinate these different virtual machines, which is co-simulation. And we have also other application of our executable models, which are mostly used for systems engineering until now, and we are starting to use them for scientific computing. And in this context, it's mostly for trade-off analysis and decision making. So that's also another application domain that require a new feature in the GEMOC studio. So that's provide us many perspectives for the future.
Great.
And another point that we expect for this project is also, as we've reached the Eclipse community, right now it's open up to many other partners that we discovered and know us much better than before. So now we have a lot of people who are interested in the project, and we look into much more use cases and a place where we can try these approaches. So that's quite exciting there.
Excellent. Is there anything else you'd like to add about your project or the work that's related?
That's fine.
Yeah, you've provided a very good overview. It sounds like very interesting work. Okay, well, best of luck.